Welcome to My English Podcast.
Learn, practice, and speak with confidence.
Hello and a very, very warm welcome to everyone listening. You've tuned in to My English Podcast, and I'm your host, Mia. It is so genuinely wonderful to have you with us again today. I'm back in my favorite armchair here at the Daily Grind Cafe. The morning sun is streaming through the window, the gentle clatter of cups is like music, and the air is thick with that beautiful, rich smell of roasted coffee beans. And, as is my very good fortune, I am not alone. I am joined by my fantastic co-host, the one and only, the always enthusiastic Max. Hello, Max.
Hello, Mia. Hello, everyone. Enthusiastic is definitely the word. I feel like last week's episode really lit a fire under me. I've been thinking about those little keys all week, and I actually used one. I was waiting in line for my coffee right here, and the woman in front of me had a really cool tote bag with a picture of a mountain on it. Instead of just standing there silently, I took a deep breath and said, "That's a great bag. Are you planning a hiking trip this weekend?"
Oh, Max, that's brilliant. What happened?
Well, she turned around and smiled. She told me she and her husband are trying to hike every major trail in the state, and that this weekend they were heading to Bear Mountain. We only chatted for about a minute before her coffee was ready, but it was easy. It wasn't scary at all. It was just a nice, simple human connection. So, thank you for those keys.
That is the best possible feedback we could ever hope for. It proves the point perfectly. It's about taking that small first step. And we are so lucky that the architect of that brilliant little keys analogy is here with us again today. Our wise and wonderful language expert, Mrs. Tina, is back with us. Welcome, Mrs. Tina.
Hello, Mia. Hello, Max. And hello to all of our dedicated listeners. Max, that story just made my day. That is precisely it. You didn't need to have a long, profound conversation. You just needed to open the door. That is a true success story, and I'm so proud of you for trying it.
Thank you, Mrs. Tina. It really did feel like a win. But it also made me think about something else. As I was talking to her, I suddenly became very aware of myself. You know? How I was standing where my hands were. I was worried I looked awkward or nervous. I had the words thanks to our key, but I wasn't sure if the rest of me was saying the right thing.
Max, you have just created the most perfect bridge to today's topic. It's like you read my mind. Because that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. You've learned a few questions to start the conversation, to say something. But what is your body saying while your mouth is speaking? Communication isn't just about the words we use. Some experts say it's more about how we say them and how we hold ourselves.
So, you're talking about body language? Like not slouching and trying not to look at my shoes?
Exactly that, but we're going to go much deeper. Today's episode is designed to be part 2 of your confidence toolkit. It's called 6 Body Language Tricks to Instantly Improve Your English. We're going to give you simple, practical, physical things you can do to not only appear more confident and fluent, but to actually feel more confident and fluent.
And this is a fascinating area, Mia. Because nonverbal communication is often processed by the brain much faster than verbal language. Before you even say, hello, the other person has already formed a first impression based on your posture, your expression, and your energy. The wonderful thing is that we have a lot of control over these signals. We can consciously choose to send signals of confidence, openness, and friendliness, which in turn makes the other person feel more comfortable and makes the entire conversation flow more smoothly.
Wow. So my body is having a conversation before I even open my mouth. That's a little intimidating, but also really powerful if I can learn how to control it. Okay, I'm ready. I have my latte, I'm sitting up straight, or trying to, so let's get into it. What's our first body language trick?
Okay, let's begin with the very foundation of your physical presence. It's the one you just mentioned, Max. Our first trick is stand or sit tall, the confidence pose.
The classic. My mother has been telling me to stop slouching since I was a teenager. I always thought it was just about looking nice, but it's more than that?
It is profoundly more than that, Max. Your mother was giving you excellent life advice, not just etiquette advice. Let's break down why. From a psychological perspective, this is a concept known as power posing. Research from social psychologists like Amy Cuddy has shown that adopting an expansive, open, tall posture doesn't just change how other people see you, it literally changes your own body chemistry.
That is incredible. So just by pulling my shoulders back and lifting my chin, I can actually change how I feel inside?
Precisely. Standing or sitting tall for as little as 2 minutes can increase levels of testosterone, the dominance and confidence hormone, and decrease levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. So before you walk into that job interview or before you approach that group at a party, find a private space, a bathroom stall, an empty hallway, and just stand tall. Put your hands on your hips like a superhero. Lift your chest. Take up space. You are sending a message to your own brain that says, I am powerful. I am confident. I belong here. When you then walk into the room, you carry that feeling with you.
A superhero pose. I love that. So it's not about being arrogant or trying to look better than others. It's a tool for managing my own internal state, my own fear and stress.
Exactly. Think about the opposite. When we feel nervous or insecure, what do we do physically? We shrink. We slouch. We curve our shoulders forward. We make ourselves smaller. We're trying to hide. By consciously choosing to do the opposite, to expand and be tall, you are physically fighting that feeling of fear.
Okay, let's make it practical. I'm at my desk at work and a new colleague, Sarah, walks over to ask a question. My natural, nervous reaction might be to stay slouched over my keyboard and just look up at her. But using this trick, what should I do instead?
A wonderful, everyday scenario. Instead of staying small, you take a moment to change your posture. You could push your chair back slightly, turn your whole body to face her, and sit up straight. Uncross your legs. Place your hands gently on your desk or your lap. This action says, without a single word, you have my full attention. I am open and ready to engage with you. I am confident in this interaction. Sarah will subconsciously register this as you being approachable, competent, and respectful. Your conversation will start on a much stronger and more positive foundation than if you had remained curled over your work.
It's such a small change with such a huge impact. So that's trick number 1. Stand or sit tall. It's your personal, internal confidence booster. What's next on our list?
I have a feeling I know what this one might be because it's the one I find the hardest. Is it eye contact?
You are 2 for 2 today, Max. Yes. Our second trick is about mastering eye contact, but we're going to give you a specific, easy-to-remember rule to make it less scary. We call it the 3-second rule for eye contact.
Oh, thank goodness. A rule. Because my problem is I either stare at my shoes because I'm nervous, or I worry that I'm staring too intensely at the other person and making them uncomfortable. It feels like a high-stakes game I always lose.
And you have just described the core anxiety for almost every language learner, and frankly, for many native speakers as well. Eye contact is incredibly important. It signals trust, sincerity, and engagement. If you avoid it, you can appear untrustworthy, disinterested, or shy. If you overdo it, it can feel aggressive or strange. The balance is key.
So what is this 3-second rule? How does it work?
It's very simple. When you are speaking to someone, try to hold their gaze for about 3 seconds at a time. After 3 seconds, you can briefly look away, perhaps to the side as if you're gathering your thoughts, or down at your coffee cup for a moment, and then you bring your gaze back. 3 seconds is long enough to establish a genuine connection, but short enough that it doesn't feel like a stare. It creates a comfortable, natural rhythm.
3 seconds. I can count that in my head. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Look away and back. That feels manageable. It feels like a technique, not just a vague instruction to make good eye contact.
Exactly. And think about when you're the listener. When the other person is talking, your job is even easier. You can maintain eye contact for a little longer because you're showing them you're paying attention. You can nod along, which we'll talk about later, and your gaze can be a bit more steady. The 3-second rule is most useful when you are the one speaking, as it helps you break up your sentences and thoughts naturally.
What if I'm talking to a group of people? Like 3 or 4 colleagues in a meeting?
An excellent question, Max. In a group setting, you apply the same rule, but you distribute it among the people present. Don't just look at one person, the boss, for example. Make a point. Look at person A for 3 seconds. Make your next point. Shift your gaze to person B for 3 seconds. Then to person C. You are drawing everyone into the conversation. You are making each person feel seen and included. This is an incredibly powerful leadership skill, and it signals immense confidence. You're not just talking at a group, you're connecting with each individual in the group.
It's like a little spotlight of attention that you just move around the room. I love that. So we have trick number 1, stand or sit tall for internal confidence. And trick number 2, the 3-second rule for eye contact to build external connection. What do you have for us for number 3?
I'm going to guess this one too. I hope it's an easy one. Is it smiling?
Max, you are on fire today. Yes, absolutely. Trick number 3 is perhaps the simplest and most powerful of them all. Smile, the universal welcome.
Phew, an easy one. I can do that. Or, I think I can. Sometimes when I'm nervous, I forget to smile. I'm so focused on finding the right English words that my face is just a blank, serious mask.
And that is an incredibly common experience. The cognitive load, the mental effort of speaking a foreign language is high. You're translating, you're remembering grammar, you're trying to understand the other person. It's easy for your facial expression to be the last thing on your mind. However, its impact is first. A smile is, in most cultures, the universal sign of friendliness. It says, I am not a threat. I am open to you. I am happy to be in this interaction.
And it does something to your voice too, doesn't it? I've heard that customer service agents are trained to smile when they're on the phone, even though the customer can't see them.
Yes, and that is a brilliant point. When you smile, the physical shape of your mouth changes, and it subtly alters the tone and pitch of your voice, making it sound warmer, friendlier, and more engaging. A smile can literally be heard. So, when you approach the barista to order your coffee, smiling before you speak will make your "Hello, can I please have a latte?" sound infinitely more pleasant and approachable than if you say the exact same words with a flat, neutral expression.
So even if I'm feeling nervous inside, I can put on a smile as a kind of social tool? Does it have to be a big, toothy grin?
Not at all. A small, gentle, genuine smile is perfect. It's not about faking a huge emotion. It's about setting a positive tone. And just like with the power pose, smiling has a feedback loop to your brain. The physical act of smiling can trigger the release of endorphins, which are natural mood elevators. So, a smile not only makes the other person feel better, it can actually make you feel a little less nervous and a little more genuinely happy to be there.
So let's imagine the scene again. Max, you're at that party. You see someone you want to talk to. You use trick number 1 and adjust your posture, standing tall. You start walking over. As you approach, you use trick number 3, and a small, friendly smile appears on your face. You get there. You ask one of our key questions from last week, and as you speak, you use trick number 2, the 3-second rule for eye contact. See how they stack together?
Wow. Hearing you lay it out like that person sounds so much more confident and friendly than the version of me who would just nervously shuffle over, stare at their shoes, and mumble a question. It's the same me saying the same words, but the delivery is 1,000 times better.
That's the magic. These aren't about changing who you are. They are about allowing the friendly, interesting person you already are to shine through, even when you're nervous about your English. Okay, this is a great foundation. We've covered posture, eyes, and mouth. What's our 4th trick? Our 4th trick moves to the rest of your body, specifically your arms and hands. It's a very common mistake people make when they're nervous. So, trick number 4 is, use open gestures and uncross your arms.
Oh, I am so guilty of this. Crossing my arms is my go-to nervous pose. It feels safe. Like I'm giving myself a little hug or creating a barrier.
You have perfectly described the subconscious motivation, Max. It is a self-protective gesture. It's a physical barrier. But think about the message it sends to the person you're talking to. When you cross your arms, you are non-verbally communicating that you are closed off, defensive, perhaps disagreeing, or simply not open to connection. It's a stop sign for conversation.
So what's the alternative? What do we mean by open gestures? What do I do with my hands? That's always the question. What do I do with my hands?
It is the eternal question. Open gestures simply means positioning your body in a way that is physically open. The most simple step is to just uncross your arms. Let them hang naturally at your sides. If that feels too awkward, you can hold your coffee cup or clasp your hands gently in front of you or put one hand in a pocket. The key is to keep your chest and torso area open and unobstructed.
What about using your hands when you talk? I see some people who talk with their hands a lot, and others who keep them perfectly still.
This can be a bit cultural, but generally, using your hands to gesture is a very positive sign. It shows you are passionate and engaged in what you are saying. When you use your hands, try to keep your palms facing upwards or outwards towards the person, as this is another very open and welcoming gesture. You can use your hands to emphasize a point. It was a huge building, or to count off a list on your fingers, just as we are doing today. It makes your communication more dynamic and easier to follow. The main thing to avoid is fidgeting, tapping your fingers, playing with a pen, picking at your nails. That signals nervousness or boredom.
Okay, so uncross my arms. Keep my torso open. And if I use my hands, do it to help my story, not to show my anxiety. I can visualize that. If my arms are crossed, the door is closed. If my arms are uncrossed and my hands are relaxed, the door is open.
What a perfect way to remember it, Max. The open door versus the closed door. So let's quickly recap. We have stand, sit tall, the 3-second eye contact rule smile, the universal welcome use open gestures. We're building a very confident, approachable person here. We have 2 more tricks to complete our toolkit. What is number 5?
Number 5 is a trick for when you are the listener. It is subtle, but incredibly powerful for building rapport and encouraging the other person to talk more. Trick number 5 is nod your head, the active listening signal.
Nodding. I think I do this already, but maybe not consciously. Why is it so important?
Because it's a non-verbal back channel. In conversation, we are constantly sending little signals to each other that say, "I'm still here, I'm listening, please continue." In English, these are words like, "aha, yeah, right, okay." Nodding is the physical equivalent of that. When someone is telling you a story and you give a few small, slow nods, you are non-verbally saying, "I understand. I'm following you. I'm interested." This is hugely encouraging for the speaker.
It makes them feel heard, which is one of the most fundamental human desires.
Exactly. It transforms you from a passive receiver of information into an active participant in the conversation, even when you're not speaking. But there is a nuance here. The pace of the nod matters. A slow, deliberate nod signals agreement and understanding. A series of quick, short nods can signal, "Hurry up, I want to say something." So you want to be mindful. When listening to a story, use slow, encouraging nods.
That's a great detail. I never thought about the speed of my nod. So, if my boss is explaining a new project to me and I'm just sitting there, staring at him with a blank face, he might think I'm not understanding or I'm not interested. But if I listen, maintain my 3-second eye contact, and give a few slow nods as he makes key points, he will feel that I am engaged and competent.
Precisely. And it helps you, the listener, too. The physical act of nodding can help you focus and process what the other person is saying. But it keeps you locked into the conversation. It's a wonderful tool for when you're worried you might miss something. Your body is helping your mind to pay attention.
This is all connecting so well. It's like a silent language that supports the spoken one. Okay, I feel like I've learned so much already. I'm almost afraid to ask what the last one is. It sounds like we've covered everything.
We have saved a slightly more advanced but fascinating trick for last. This one happens on an almost subconscious level. But when you become aware of it, you can use it to build an almost instant connection. Our final trick, number 6, is mirroring, the subconscious connection.
Mirroring. You mean copying the other person? That sounds risky. Won't they notice? Won't it seem like I'm making fun of them?
A very valid concern, Max. And it's why this is an advanced trick that requires subtlety. Mirroring does not mean direct, immediate imitation. If he scratches his nose, you don't immediately scratch your nose. That would be weird. Mirroring, or what psychologists sometimes call the chameleon effect, is about subtly and naturally matching a person's general body language, posture, and energy level.
Can you give us an example? How would this work in practice?
Of course. Let's say you're having coffee with a new friend. You notice that she is leaning forward, with her elbows on the table, speaking in an excited, energetic tone. A way to mirror this would be to also lean forward slightly. You don't have to put your elbows on the table, but you can close the space a little to match her level of engagement. If she is leaning back in her chair, very relaxed, with one arm draped over the back, you might also lean back a bit more in your chair to match her relaxed energy.
So it's about matching the vibe, not the exact action. If she is high energy, I bring my energy up a little. If she is calm and quiet, I bring my energy down a little.
That is the perfect way to put it, Max. It's about matching the vibe. You can also mirror gestures, but with a delay. If she uses her hands to make a point, a minute or two later, you might naturally start to use your hands a bit more as well. If she picks up her coffee cup to take a sip, a few moments later, you might do the same. This happens naturally between people who have a strong connection. By doing it consciously but subtly, you are tapping into that part of the brain that recognizes similarity. The other person won't know why they feel comfortable with you. They will just know that the conversation feels easy and that you seem to be on the same wavelength.
It's like a secret handshake for the subconscious mind. It's building rapport without a single word. What a powerful concept. But I can see why it's the advanced trick. You have to be paying attention to the other person, not just worrying about yourself.
And that, Mia, is perhaps the ultimate secret to all of this. All 6 of these tricks, from standing tall to mirroring, achieve one primary goal. They take the focus off your own internal anxiety and place it onto the connection with the other person. When you're thinking, am I standing tall? Am I making eye contact? Am I smiling? Am I nodding? You are actively engaging in the mechanics of positive communication. You stop thinking, oh no, my grammar is bad, my vocabulary is small. You start thinking, how can I show this person I am friendly, confident, and interested in what they have to say?
That's a huge mental shift. It's moving from a place of fear to a place of service in a way. I'm not just trying to survive the conversation. I'm trying to make it a pleasant experience for the other person, which in turn makes it better for me.
That's it. That is the entire philosophy in one sentence. It's a beautiful summary, Max. So let's do a final, quick review of our 6 powerful tricks. Trick number 1, stand or sit tall. Your private tool to reduce stress and boost your own confidence before you even speak.
Trick number 2, the 3-second rule for eye contact. Your way to create connection without being intimidating.
Trick number 3, smile. The universal signal of warmth that changes your voice and your brain chemistry.
Trick number 4, use open gestures. Uncross those arms. Open the door to conversation.
Trick number 5, nod your head. The active listening signal that shows you are engaged and encourages the other person.
And trick number 6, the advanced one, mirroring. Subtly matching the other person's vibe to build a subconscious connection.
Fantastic. Mrs. Tina, do you have any final words of wisdom for our listeners who want to start practicing these?
Just one piece of advice: don't try to do all 6 at once. That would be overwhelming. Pick one. For the next week, just focus on trick number 1, your posture. Notice when you slouch. Gently correct yourself. Stand tall for 1 minute before you make a phone call. The next week, you can add in a focus on smiling. Start small. Build these into habits, one at a time. This is not about a performance. It's about building a new, more confident way of being. Be patient and kind with yourself, and remember that every small effort is a step towards more confident and joyful communication.
I'm going to start with posture. That's my homework for the week. I'm going to try to catch myself slouching at my desk and just sit up straight. That feels like a very achievable first step.
I think that's a perfect plan. And a wonderful place for us to wrap up for today. This has been so incredibly insightful. I feel like I've learned things I can use in my own life, not just for learning a language. So a huge thank you to our language expert, the brilliant Mrs. Tina, for guiding us through this.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you both for a wonderful conversation.
Thank you, Mrs. Tina. This was amazing.
And a massive thank you to all of you, our wonderful listeners, for tuning in and sharing this time with us. We hope you feel empowered with these new tools. Remember, your English journey is about so much more than words. We'll be back next week with another episode to help you on your way. Until then, be kind to yourselves, stand tall, and maybe share a smile with a stranger. This is Mia from My English Podcast, signing off.
Bye, everyone.